Welcome to the On Stage podcast, where we interview musicians and members of the entertainment community. Welcome, everyone, to another podcast. We have a special musician here. His name is Tim Panic. And can you give us a little bit of a background of who you are and what made you come out with the band, the name, NEOCRACY, and everything in between? Who is
Yeah,
Tim Panic?
Thank you very much, Chris, for having me. I'm the bass player and like background vocalist for the band NEOCRACY. We formed like around about 3 or 4 years ago during the COVID pandemic as some kind of studio project because we the band consists not only of me but also of Volker Panik, who is my father and our guitar player, and also our lead vocalist Franziska Stolze. Um, and we come from Germany, and we said during the times of the pandemic we wanted to keep doing like music when everything else was shut down. We wanted to keep active and still create music, even if we couldn't play live with all the other projects we are in, because all of us we have separate bands too with other music or other band projects, and we wanted to do something together. Maybe because of the name, Volker is my father, and he came to me like around about 4 years ago and asked if we could do some songs together, to write some music, to record it in a studio. And then we looked for a vocalist, and we knew Franziska from another project, so we all hooked up together in the studio and created a little bit of music, which turned out to be our album, which is currently out, is Pure Organic. The name NEOCRACY was a former project of Volker. He had it like, I guess, 20 something years ago, when I still was a kid, and we wanted to keep the name some sort of alive to like keep the memory, and we kind of like the sound of it. For us, it means the reign of the new, like some sort of new democracy, but it should be open to everyone, so everyone should think of themselves for a meaning behind this name. So also with the lyrics to the songs, we always want to keep this open-minded and free for all to see their own little message behind it.
So you chose a specific name because your father had the name and you didn't want to change the name. Can you tell me, is there a
Yep.
meaning, a secret or twisted side to that name?
I don't know the original meaning behind it, what they thought of like 20 something years ago. For me, it's something like, or it's the meaning is always I'm a fan of combining styles and some maybe even genres or meanings and messages behind the lyrics. So for me, it means like the reign of the new. It's something to keep something modern, to give it a new approach, but also combine it with something from the past. And I always like this in music, to combine stuff, to mix something together into something new. And for me, the music and the songs we wrote during that time always expresses exactly this. So we are mixing different styles. Like there's country, there's metal, there's some sort of rap, even a little bit of swing and jazz here and there. But it always keeps the main rock formula to hold this all together. And I always like the idea behind of this, because I'm also a fan of many different music styles. So for me, it's something to keep something new and modern and fresh.
I like that idea, keeping something new, modern, and fresh. Um, I know that there's a Christian band called NEOCRACY. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so the name has been used, which there's no problem. I mean, like, you have a different style of
Yeah,
music.
we had like a few years ago we exchanged some messages with a band I don't know if I think they were from Pennsylvania. I guess they had the
That's
same
the
name.
one. That's the one.
Yeah,
Four
okay,
guys.
that's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah, and we wrote with them. They said, "Oh, it's cool. We didn't know there was another band with that name. We really like this," and so that's all totally fine with everyone.
Yeah. But if you were to call
Yeah,
yourself Styx or Metallica, then you'd be in trouble.
yeah, that would be something else. But yeah, we didn't do this.
No. So it's great that you all were brought together. So both your father Voltar is a guitarist, but you play the bass guitar. Now that guitar on the right there, that's the one you
Yeah, yeah.
play.
No, this one I played for a little bit, a short time live, when I didn't have the opportunity of another bass guitar, but then I ordered a new one to keep the sound I really want, because I'm a specific fan of it's actually, I think, a German brand which is called Warwick, and they are producing here in Germany, in the eastern region of Germany where we come from. And yeah, I like to keep it like a little bit of hometown vibe to it, and I always like the sound of those instruments. So that's the one I played on the album, and yeah, that's what I kind of like to keep it a little bit in our region, in our area. We are all deeply rooted where we come from.
Yeah, you're mentioning Francisca's name as vocalist, and you said that was it her or was it your? You said I think you said your father Volker was also in the band, but you said Francisca was in the band. Does that mean she's in another band besides yours?
Yeah, so that around the time when we started the project, my father had a band with her, so they were doing like cover stuff for parties and something like this. And that's where he knew her from. This band was like disbanded, or some members changed, and because they couldn't play from like 2020 on to the early 2022, and yeah, so I'm in another project which is where I'm the vocalist. We do something like a mix of new metal, metalcore, deathcore. That's what my modern approach to all that stuff is. And yeah, we mix those experiences, the tastes, the musical tastes of all the members together. So they knew each other before from a project which they were both in, and I of course know my father, and I was joining from the other, let's say, younger side, and yeah, that's where we started the mix, I guess.
I've spoken to many musicians, and some of them actually they developed during the pandemic. And you imagine if the pandemic never happened, a lot of these bands wouldn't exist, but they're
Yeah.
still playing. And the pandemic hit opera singers pretty hard that they couldn't perform, but many of them went online and they got you to charge to see them sing, which wasn't not bad. And now
Mhm.
everyone's starting to perform again. Some people have stopped um, doing online. Some people have started a podcast like myself. I started in November 2021, so this November will be my second year.
Okay. Yeah.
And since
Happy
I had time,
anniversary.
yeah, thank you. Everyone is just now thinking, okay, pandemic's over. That's what they think,
Mhm.
and they just stop. Like the worst part of it, Tim, is that during the pandemic, people didn't want to be alone. So they adopted dogs and cats. And now
Mhm.
that we can go out and do our own thing and everything, they
Yeah.
went and sent them out to get adopted again. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
So
that's crazy. I think many people did stuff which I never could realize in total. I think all the world has gone a little bit more crazier than it was before, even before. And yeah, that's what you have mentioned. That's something I couldn't totally understand. If you do something, do it with passion, and if it involves like breathing creatures, you don't just stop. So that's not cool
yeah,
at all.
I think if the pandemic never happened, I probably wouldn't be doing a podcast because I hated podcasts. I actually
Yeah. Okay.
when I opened up the iPhone, I deleted the podcast app. Now that I love podcasts, I watch them all the time. I'm now obsessed by it.
Yeah, I
But
can see that.
think sort of like I never liked cats, and
Yeah.
then I met someone who had a cat, and then now I love cats, and I have a black cat here, and hope she stays where she is because she likes to ruin my recordings here. But I'm sure out
Okay.
of the 130 podcasts, I think I have 15 or 20 of them where the cat just jumped right up in front of me. And
Yeah.
you see
Yeah.
the
Right.
body and the tail and everything. I'm like,
There's
so
always some pros and cons to it.
oh
So
yeah, like I could come up with a whole blooper reel. You would not believe, like the fire alarm going off, and the
yeah, I
cat
guess.
coming up, and having me to leave
I'm
to go to the bathroom and all those things.
I'm just waiting for something to happen right here. So let's just talk a little bit and we see what comes around.
Yeah, don't worry about that because then eventually I can just edit that out. So,
Oh,
um,
okay, okay.
but so I suppose NEOCRACY has done some tours lately.
No, no, not unfortunately not because we are lacking a drummer from the beginning. So we always there was, let's say, there was a reason why we have called the album Pure Organic. We wanted to keep everything like clean and pure, considering instruments, considering vocals. We didn't want to produce a high-tech product of music because we think that happens way too often nowadays, which is not bad, because if you like to listen to music and it's produced in a really good and high quality fashion, totally fine. I also like this kind of music, but for that what we were doing, we wanted to keep a raw and natural approach to everything, and we also had a studio drummer for the album who we know, so we were lucky enough to have real drums on the album and didn't program anything or stuff like this. But unfortunately, he is involved in other projects, doesn't have time for this, and yeah, that's the way we kept, or that's why we kept it like some sort of studio project, because our thought was always, we are doing this for us, we are doing this for fun. This is some sort of little family gathering when we get to the studio to create music, to write music, and we wanted to keep it that way because we all are playing in other bands which are playing live or like giving shows, and yeah, that's because we all work besides NEOCRACY. We all have regular day-to-day jobs, so that's not the main goal with the band. We wanted to make music, which we really like and appreciate. So yeah, it's not that bad that we are not touring. Let's say it this way.
Yeah, what sacrifices have you made, and in choosing to play in a band, what did you have to give up?
Time. It's like time is a really big matter. So we are all working, as I said. I'm working like 50 hours a week, and you always have to like, you have a family besides that. You have stuff you have to do, and so on and so on. So it's always a little bit difficult to find your time for the studio, for the creation process, to do music videos, for example, or that's all topics you have to plan. You have to work out how it would work in the future. You have to rely on people who help you, because I don't have not a damn thing to do with camera work or video editing or stuff like this. I know a few basics. I know a few basics of producing, but I wouldn't want to do it myself. I'm a musician. I want to make music, and the rest is the job of other people. And there's always the time thing where you have to find a way to come together and make everything happen. That's time is, I guess, the main thing.
Yeah. How do you what's your creative process? For instance, Pure Organic, everyone, is out now. NEOCRACY. Can you give us a little bit of idea how Pure Organic started, and the lyrics, and what's your creative process? Do you start with the lyrics and then the music? You do the music and then the lyrics? How do you do that?
Yeah, we always start with music first, and then we do lyrics to the songs to to the vibe the music gives, because each song is like has a different vibe, has a different feeling behind it, and so that topic might fit to this, that topic might fit to this, and the lyrics are mainly done by Volker and Franzi. So they write something in German, then we hit Google Translator, and I am the one who says, you cannot write that, but you can write it this way. So the thing they want to say always gets expressed and like corrected or like overseen
Yeah, Google
by me.
Translate does not translate it properly in English, so you're there to
Never,
make sure
never,
it
never.
does. That's awesome.
Exactly. So that's the way it works, and I always want to give them the freedom to express what they want to say, because I'm doing vocals in another band, as I have said. That's where I'm doing my thing, which is personal for me, and so I want to give them the room to express what they want to say, and the lyrics are mainly about everyday life stuff, which affected mainly Franziska, our lead vocalist in the past, now, and in the future maybe. So she's talking about family matters, she's talking about stress, she's talking about work and related problems, all that kind of stuff which you can like funnel into this certain outlet of music, into a certain outlet of vocals, and that's her main part in writing. And the music is mainly also created by Volker, so he writes the like concept of the songs. He writes riffs. He comes with riffs and says, I want to do it this way, I want to do it this way. So he comes from a you shouldn't hear this, but from an older school of thought behind music. So he's like old school traditionalist. So he makes the metal from 1980, 1990. So that's his time, and I appreciate that, and I like this. But sometimes I say, yeah, like, Father, listen to me. You cannot do this nowadays. You have to keep it a little bit fresher. You have to give it a new vibe, a new taste. Why not try this? Why not try that? And so we go to a certain point of compromise to like create something new of like two opinions. And sometimes I say, okay, I wouldn't have done it this way, but I like it, and vice versa. So it's always like an exchange of thoughts.
Out of all the episodes we've had, you seem to be the only one. You're not the only German composer and the only German musician we've had. We had one recently from what do you say with Heidelberg, just recently.
Yeah.
But when you think of that, never thought, you write the lyrics, you write them in English, but I never thought that, okay, you write the lyrics in German and you need someone who speaks German, who speak English to translate it in English, but you have to change the lyrics because what they want to say is not what it is in English.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
exactly.
You're not only just translating the lyrics, you're also writing lyrics, but you're writing them in English, even though the lyrics, it's really complicated. This is amazing. And also I know that there are several German musicians, and I know that music is always translatable emotionally and spiritually. But if an Italian composer who knows no word of English writes music, doesn't have to go to some other composer, hey, can you write this in an English version? I'm like, huh? It's only and like you have German composers like Herbert Grönemeyer, Lena Meyer-Landrut, Hans Zimmer, Johann Sebastian, and also there's a artist out there named Sarah Connor, but she's also German. Bega is German. Kim Petras is German. Rammstein and Robin Schultz as well. They're all German. And Peter Schilling as well. And I know the song Heilige Nacht. It's sort of like Stille Nacht, Heilige Nacht.
Holy Night, I guess, in English, right? Is it?
Yeah, but is Heilige meaning? Is Heilige mean holy?
Yeah, exactly. That's the word.
But it's sort of like, so And you have like Dane and Dem and Dare and D, and you have to
Yeah,
use them
it's
properly because
German.
M and N
German
and
is is tricky.
DOS. Here you just
Yeah.
have the, when, where. It's no.
It's easy. Like you can say everything with just a few words, but here you have to think. Like if you say if you like exactly say der, die, das, he, she, it, and all that stuff, you always have to look out. Like, are you offending someone with just not knowing what you're talking about? And there's German is just complicated, and for someone who doesn't speak it fluently, um, I guess unimaginable to understand or to translate what we want to say. I just recently saw a video of some German words that do not have an actual translation in English, and I found that really funny because all the words I was using in my like everyday life, but some I think he was from the USA. He tried to explain what the word means, but it was really crazy. There's like a word which doesn't exist in English. In German, it's called Kopfkino, and that means in a literal translation is head cinema, so a cinema in the head, and this is just meaning like you're imagining something which could happen, but it's always in a sexual way. So that's what that word means. So yeah, that's German.
Yeah, I saw a video too, and they had like they had an Italian, they had an English, and then they had a German. And German one was funny
Yeah,
because you have words like helicopter, which is very, very long, and airplane are very long. Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we are
so,
always sticking the words together, so it gets
yeah.
even longer and longer.
Yeah, where did you find your inspiration for pure organic? Like,
It it mainly starts with I guess everyone jamming at home, like when you practice and play your instrument. You think of something, you say, oh, that might work in a song. Maybe that's part of a verse, part of a chorus, and you just bring it to the table and try to build something around it. So my father, he is like, I guess he is always thinking in complete song structure. So when he sits down at night and says, okay, I write a song now, he thinks of riffs, adds something to it, and he comes to the studio with the actual complete songs, and I'm telling him what I think of it, what I would change maybe, or what could be done differently. And when we have like the demo, the like rough mix of it, we head out to Franziska so she can like think of a theme or lyrics, what she wants to say. Maybe sometimes also Volker is writing the lyrics also for the song he wrote because he has a certain mindset behind it as something he experienced. And the inspiration behind it is everyday life. So in Germany, we are you cannot say it's a bad time, but I think many things. It's like I guess like everywhere in the world, but many things have gone really downhill in the since the last 3 years, and we are not really cool with that. So we always want to like with the lyrics to make sure we put our finger in the wound. So we wanted to reflect the things that happen between humans in all that time and what our experience was during that time, and maybe which or sometimes even a little bit more overboarding topics like in general to talk about stuff which matters, because if someone from a family dies, or if you have like the last song about on Pure Organic, which is called Nordic Sky, is complete acoustic. It's a ballad. It's about like heading out on a boat in the sea, in the northern sea, here in Germany, and there's the man heads out to be a sailor, and the woman waits on the shore. When he comes back, sees storms, sees wars, fights, and all that stuff. and is like waiting, and we just wanted to keep like a feeling of desperation behind that song, and the inspiration from that was drawn from a holiday vacation in Denmark, which is also everyday life. But when we were heading out, so my father and I, we were fishing in Denmark, and we headed out into the Northern Sea, and he came up with the whole topic. For example, that's just one thing, and sometimes Franziska has similar things and affections which happens in her like personal squad, in her family, her friends, and all that stuff. So we always draw from personal experience.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Excuse me, but yeah, that's quite an interesting way of putting things. So your upcoming single "Torment," you
Yep.
shot in Eisdorf.
Yeah, exactly.
How far is Eisdorf from Dusseldorf and Denmark? How far is that from there?
It's the complete other side of the country. Like, you know Leipzig? Did you hear that? But you know Berlin, I guess. So if
Berlin,
you,
yeah.
you travel like 150 kilometers south, and then you're there. That's where we are coming from, which is our hometown. Hometown is a small village. It's near Leipzig and Halle. Those are the main bigger cities around it. We always do it like where we are rooted, where we are coming from. That's where we want to do everything, which is creative, like music and also music videos, and all that stuff.
So I take it that Eisdorf is far from Heidelberg as well?
Way too far. It's like Heidelberg is the western or southern western part of Germany, and
Wow.
Düsseldorf is like the even more far in the west. So yeah, that's the exact other direction.
That's amazing. So is there one of your songs that gets a reaction from people, like people saying, "I love that song. Where did you write it? When did you write it? What's it all about?"
I guess the most reactions came for like Sleep Awake, which was our first single and also the first music video. And it was mainly because it was such a mix or some sort of flashback to like the early 2000s new metal and alternative or crossover time period. So that's what people like, because in that way, as we did it here in our region, it was like new again, let's say, a little bit of a revival. And that was like also it was compared to many different bands which we didn't think of when we wrote that song, because we had something else going on in our minds. But people said like what I could relate to a little bit is like the verse of my part is where I do the rap vocals, is reminding them of like Limp Bizkit or Linkin Park or something like this, which is also main influence of mine. So those are the bands which I grew up on listening to. But there's like also a melodic solo in like the middle of the song, and that's more like 80s 90s driven, which is the time from my father. And that's mainly the combination of the styles. As I've said it earlier, this is what drew the attention of the people, and it got good reactions. People really liked it. So maybe even there were also critics, which what we are always thankful for, because we do what we can with the possibilities we have, and there's always like, let's say, room for improvement, and we always kept this in mind to do it better the next time, to focus a little bit more on those things which we didn't have in focus when we did the first single, to do it better with the next one. So that was kind of a good exchange with the people who listen to it, like blogs, radios, small radios, or magazines which gave reviews for the album. They always liked like Sleep Awake the most, and maybe even also the song Respect, which is I guess the 7th or 8th track on the album. It's like Before Nordic Sky. This is like a mixture of rock, country. My father was playing the banjo in that song in the beginning and in the middle part in the bridge. So that at the end of the album, something like this comes on, and people say, "Why?" So they don't know what to do with that. And we really like to surprise. We like to shock a little bit in that way when you are listening to it. You should have your own experience of like, let's put a smile on the face of the people, because they were not thinking that this would come right now in the next song. So that's always something I like.
Yeah, I love Linkin Park. You're mentioning that group. They had a first album called Hybrid Theory, and the second album,
Yeah,
Meteora. My
yeah,
favorite song is Breaking the Habit. It's my
yeah.
favorite.
It's a good song.
And
Great.
so, and you do play covers as well.
Yeah, with like a small project. Yeah, what we do on the side to like keep the thing live. Yeah.
And do you have certain covers that you kind of play, or do you have a set list of, okay, let's play covers, and then you have a list of the covers you play? Like how
Yeah,
many
there's
songs do you think you know?
let's say there are. I can only say the time we are able to play in the evening, like for, let's say, 3.5 hours to 4 hours. So that's what we get booked for mainly. So there are a lot of songs from all different times. Like we are playing songs from the 50s. We are playing songs from
Oh, wow.
from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s until today. So it's like everything, it's like Sweet Home Alabama. You play also
Oh,
Foo
wow.
Fighters is the next song, and stuff
Awesome.
like that. So that's what we like, and we always want to keep it more like a little bit more powerful, but also for everyone relatable. Everybody knows those songs, so that's always something we do. We also play as an intro. We play "Feeling Good" from Nina Simone.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a little bit more jazzy. In between, I play the Pink Panther theme with upright bass. So there's always stuff happening. So yeah, it's really mixed.
I think the most difficult song, I guess you would think, was the Etta James one, At Last. You ever tried to attempt that one? At
Um,
last.
I think I heard it, but no, we didn't try.
So, what was the musicians and bands like in the 40s and 50s in Germany? Did they have crazy musicians fooling around like Jerry Lee Lewis? And
Yeah,
do
there
you
were.
like?
From what I know is, or what I could tell you, because we are from the eastern part, which was the GDR formerly. So the whole music scene and all the performing matter is a little bit different from the western region of Germany, because of the separation and the wall and all that stuff. So I only know it from my father, because he has played music during that time.
Wow.
And he said there you had to play with your band, with your group. You had to play in front of a committee
Wow.
of like the political people from the party, and they had to say if you are able enough to play music. So they said you can play and you can't play.
Oh.
You're good, you're not. And they always told you, like, you have to do 60% socialist songs, and you have to do, or you can do 40% of Western songs which have not a political background. So you had to keep this in mind always. Yeah, that's in the eastern part. It was a little bit tricky, but there were many really good musicians here. Also in the jazz area, in the opera area, they are like genius, and or did really amazing work in all that kind of stuff. There was like I don't know the first name, but his the last name is Becher. He wrote like the anthem for the GDR, the musical anthem. And I think this is the more beautiful song compared to the modern day German national anthem. And yeah, there were many musicians, but they are after 1990 they were like they got in the background because financially and economically the East was let's say in a bad position to compare or to compete with what came from the West. So they didn't get the possibility to play live somewhere or do it frequently. There are some bands from the East, like maybe you have heard of this. They are called Silly. This is a band from the East. I could recommend this to you because they are playing good rock. There's Karat and Carousel. I can write you a few. They are still playing. They are still playing and going on. And those were always great bands, and they are still doing music. It was an interesting time, I guess. I didn't. Fortunately, I wasn't in the perspective to grow up in that.
I want to ask you: would it be worth for me to investigate German music, such as like the composers, the pop stars, the jazz artists? Is it worth for me doing that? Like, do you have a current Britney Spears type German musician there?
No, okay. I'm not a huge fan of the German pop music. Let's put it this way, because it's therefore it is pop music, but it's more like 9 to 5 music, I guess. It's all well produced. It's all done good. The singers are great, but I cannot relate personally and on an emotional level to the music. So it's really hard for me to give you some tips or some stuff that I would like to listen to. But there is let's say there's many underground bands which do really great music. And for example, I was at a let's say it's a club / restaurant here in the next bigger town. It's called Halle. And the club is called like in English Object 5, and in I guess it was March this year, and there was a band which was called Funky Times, and they were doing funk, and they are all like 19 or 20 years old, and they are doing such an amazing job on their instruments. It was just incredible to see this happening live, and that's telling me there's really great musical talent in Germany. I guess they are from Hamburg, in the northern area of Germany, and that was for me the highlight this year, where I was as a fan. And they are just pushing music to the limit. They were playing fast. They were playing really good funk, which I hadn't heard in a long time, like the way they did it. So they're called Funky Times. You should check this out. That's great.
Okay, I'll investigate that further.
And they're also rising. So they were underground band, but they gain more and more of an audience. So I think maybe you would hear of them anyway in a few years. So they are really doing a good job.
It'll probably take them a while for their name to be heard here in Toronto, Canada.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. Well, everyone, we're going to end the stream, but I have one more question for you, Tim. If you could choose any artist to collaborate with, who would it be and why?
Oh, okay. For me personally, I would love to do something with like my musical inspiration as a kid. So that would be like, love him or hate him, it's Fred Durst. So I think he has a good feeling for writing cool songs, to make catchy stuff, or with the whole band, like Limp Bizkit, for example. That's always a dream for me to collaborate. Or if it wouldn't be him, it would be something like Korn, Jonathan Davis, the lead singer, I think he has one of the most amazing voices in all of alternative metal and new metal. So I think those two would be a go-to for me personally. Yeah, I think that would be just great.
Well, thank you very much for grazing us on our platform. So sorry that you have problems there in Germany and the storm and
Yeah,
electricity that went out and everything, but you're back and we were able to spend a few minutes. So thank you very much, Tim, and really enjoy your music, and also look forward to hearing more. So we're going
yeah.
to end the stream, and thank you very much for everything, and we shall talk soon, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me the opportunity to speak here. It was a great time. It was a pleasure for me. I wish you just all the best and many cool guests and many cool music to listen to in the future.
Yeah.
Just a short word. We are, as NEOCRACY, we are still working on new music. We are putting a new album out. Everyone should probably follow us on Facebook, Insta, and all that. There will be some news in the future, of course.
Excellent.
So thank you
Can't wait
very
for
much
that.
again. Thank you very much
You're
again.
very welcome. Okay, everyone. See you, Tim.
Thank you so much.